the question, so what? It's data because there is no clear action to it. Okay. Insights, okay. Insight because it was a discovery. In the lens, data, nothing to be done. Yeah, actually, there's nothing to be done with the data. So all it says is that I mean, just brow measurements, really. But it's not telling you, oh, does that mean that we should buy more brows? You know, so there's really, okay, so I'm getting, all right, cool. Okay. Yeah, so the answer is actually data. Again, because there is it's new, yes, it's credible, but it's not asking us to do anything. It's not showing any action to take. There's no path for action. And so it may not actually say, and then go and buy this or and go and do this, but the information should be able to lead to an action. This just says that 40% of browse searches on mobile are related to browse size. Okay, so what? If we're searching for browse size, does that say that, I don't know, we are getting fatter, or the browse in circulation are not our size? I've started sharing now. I've started sharing. You should be able to see it now. You should be able to see my screen now. Okay. Okay, great. Great. Analysis gained from analyzing data. Yeah. Nice one, Harrison. All right, cool. And the last one, let's see if this is data or insights. Users engage with YouTube food content for different reasons. Millennial men view YouTube as entertainment, while millennial women view YouTube as exploration and education. Is this data or insight? Shoot, I need to run fast. All right, so insight in capital letters. Okay, okay. So those that say it's insights, what action is it asking you to do, or is it pointing at? What action is it pointing at? Those that say insight. So the rest of us can learn. Gives a clear direction on what to do with content plan. So what? Yeah. Okay. Is that ridiculous? Okay. Yeah, Kolapo, what would you do with this insight? What action would you take with this insight? Tells you who to target your YouTube videos to when creating content for education. Great. Great. Yeah. Yeah, that is one. Yeah. So you can see how insight leads you to a specific action, and it could be multiple actions. I could also spin this in another way. Let me see if someone answers. I will entertain men with, yeah. So you can literally split based on demographic and create content in those different passion points for entertainment, men, and then for education and exploration, females. Yeah. Nice one, Toka. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Yes. That's it. All right. So we'll move on quickly. We're running out of time. I'll just breeze through this. This is like my favorite part of what I do. And it's some of us may be familiar with this breakdown. And I just want us to be aware of the impact of our jobs when we say that we are digital marketers. The impact of our jobs actually run down to the business, that small circle at the bottom. And then The next step to that is marketing. After that, you look at the brands and products. Then you look at the consumers, and then communications is usually where most of us come in. But even then, some digital marketers don't come in at communications. Where some of us come in is at channel experience and implementation. And then finally, measurement and evaluation. All of these steps, all of these concentric circles actually add up to the business. And it's very important that we understand that strategy from whatever concentric circle you are doing it, whether it's at communications level, it's supposed to impact the business bottom line at the end of the day. There was a conversation around brands and business a while ago on the group. And when someone was at this point saying that, I think it was Eco Hotels, and they were saying that, oh, it's against the brand for Eco Hotels to be delivering food outside of the hotel or even doing laundry. And the argument was that, but if you look at the business, you would see that the business is bigger than the brand. The business is more important than the brand. And after further arguing and, well, should I say explaining, we saw that the brand is actually not going to take any damage by surviving as a business. So let's not lose sight of the big picture and focus too much on our concentric circles where we say, oh, I'm a digital marketer, and so everything you just think is digital. It's like a carpenter that has a hammer and thinks that everything is a nail. It actually does not work like that. We should understand that there are other parts of the business that matter to the bottom line. When you look specifically at digital, there are, should I say, fundamentals that we need to understand. The first starting point for every endeavor really is stating your objectives, stating your goals. And it's the same thing with digital strategy. There is no strategy if there's no objective, if there's no destination. And I like to phrase it this way by saying that when it comes to strategy, we should begin with the end in mind. It is the objective that counts. It is the final frame that counts. It is not how well you targeted or you know how to target. It's not how well you designed a creative. It's not even how well you did your presentation. At the end of the day, did you achieve the objectives that were set at the start of the campaign? Again, in defense of consultants and agency people, sometimes the clients do not communicate that objective clearly. And so in our defense, but it's very important that we help the client to distill what the objective is. Most times they know it, but maybe they don't know how to communicate it to you, or they feel that, oh, it's agency, we shouldn't tell them what's really going on with the business. And so they only talk about the brand and the marketing and then the communication brief that they are giving you. But you as a consultant, as a professional, you should always dig down to what is the business challenge? What is the business objective that you're trying to reach? And stating that, the next thing is channel strategy, which we are familiar with. Content, a lot of us do content, but is your content achieving the overall objective, or you're just writing content because you are skillful at writing content? We looked at that trend example of Airtel, from storytelling to story selling. So there should be an objective, there should be a business objective with your beautiful content. Media strategy is very key. We'll look at how important media strategy is as we go forward. And then finally, tactics. Just because it is not in your presentation, your document, your strategy document, does not mean that you can't change tactics during campaign. That is the essence of tactics. It is short term. It's not the overall plan. It's something you need to do to achieve a short-term objective. So let us be flexible with, and a lot of media planners would be aware of that. Sometimes you set your bid for X amount and you find out that, you're not getting the kind of reach and conversions that you want. And so you increase your budget and all of that. So we We are familiar. These are part of tactics, but it's not just in media. There's also tactics in creatives. You could have started your creative and you find out that, oh, this creative is not converting. Or you find out that, kind of like what we saw in that data versus insight, that, oh, men are actually responding more to entertainment, and then you change your creative and say that, oh, this is a tactic that we need to take up, right? So let's not, in execution, it's very important that we're open-minded and we're open to changing tactics. We're familiar with this. I would not bore us with this. Setting smart objectives. If, again, I say that if your clients did not spell it out like that, you should help them spell this out. If they are saying that I want to deliver 1 million views in 1 week, is it realistic, within the time frame? Is it achievable? Of course, we can measure it and it's specific enough. But then you look at the other factors to consider before agreeing to the brief, whoever the client is. The essence of digital, and one of the reasons why it is so impactful, is that it allows you to measure. And because you can measure, you can optimize, you can make it better. And because you can make it better, you must have succeeded in a campaign. You have one successful campaign in the past. And because of that, you can recreate that success. You know what worked in the past, and then you can make it better as you go forward. This, again, we are familiar with this, but a lot of times we allow ourselves to be boxed in one of these three categories, whether it's awareness or whether it's consideration. In fact, a lot of people don't play within that consideration space. And finally, around conversions. But we should see, again, the big picture and be able to paint the journey for our clients and for our brands, to say that at this stage, we are focusing on awareness, if that is within your strategy. And then at this stage, we are about consideration, right? We want people to ask questions and all of that, and increase our perception, show purchase intent. While conversion is more about, oh, okay, whatever those conversion metrics are that you set, whether it's registration, signups, actual transactions, you'll be able to set that and communicate to your clients that the different stages of this campaign will be focusing on different KPIs. Even though you may see an overlap, our focus at this stage of the campaign is this particular set of KPIs. So don't come and harass me for clicks when what I'm optimizing for is reach, right? So we should, again, be able to communicate that, right? And then moving to the last part, personalization at scale. I'll just quickly define this. This is not complete, but I just wanted to call out the key parts. We know about personalization, but what a lot of people do when they say personalization is they think that, oh, when I send that newsletter, I'll say, hi Muyiwa, hi Toka, and that's the end of personalization. While that is good, the next frontier is actually to bring that level of personalization at scale. That's to all your clients, to all your customer database, using all the available data touch points that you have. So it's not just, oh, I have first name and then you use that. That's personalization. This is using all the data that you have collected, first party, second party data that you've collected. And I think at the last class, this was also mentioned. And then, but not within the principle of personalization at scale. But with this, it's using all of that and allowing you to serve tailored, meaningful, timely, as well as relevant communications to our target audience. It brings out, when you, okay, I'm getting, oh, okay, all right, I'll just go on. Thanks, Toka. Okay, I'll take the questions. There's a Q&A session. I'll take the questions then. Yeah. Oh yeah, how do you mention all of this? Yeah, okay, all right, okay. And there are 5 key drivers for personalization at scale. First of all, let me mention that so that it doesn't go off the top of our head, what is required for P@S is a lot of data, ability to mine it. So whether you have a DMP, and then your DMP has AI capabilities, machine learning capabilities, such that it's pulling multiple data points and creating a unique consumer profile. So you have an actionable consumer segmenting. You've taken that insight and it's actionable. Now you see that, oh, these men actually want entertainment. You have that key pillar there. The next thing is around data-driven targeting. So yeah, this works very effectively with programmatic, where you are pulling different touch points across not just one channel, say for example, GDN. You are pulling across multiple ad exchanges. You are pulling across different data touch points, whether it's IME number, whether it's data consumption habits, mobile data consumption habits, locations and all of that, visits, all the places that you visit on Google Map and all of that. And the machine is able to take all of this information and create a very close to real as possible profile of that individual. And then you are able to move to create creatives and say that this particular individual or this particular set of individuals would resonate with this particular type of content. And so you create several versions of your content and target them as a pool of audiences that your machine has come to profile beyond what you've served as interest points and demographics and all of that. Then, because it is plugged in and it's real time, your machine is constantly learning and optimizing to do better. And the end of it is that conversion metric or that objective that you set, because you've gathered so much information in the past, in the previous 4 steps, you are able to simplify and optimize for conversions at the end of the line. And what we've seen is that it has delivered a lot more return on investment compared to, we've done this with a few of our brands, and we've seen that it actually shows a higher return on investment compared to just normal interest targeting and all of that. P@S actually works more effectively. We looked at the third point there was around creatives. And creatives are so important that it accounts for between 47 to 70% of campaign success. This was pulled from a report by Nelson. I think Google on YouTube says it's 49%. The creative accounts for 49%, but you can just have a bandwidth of that. Know that your creative is really important, and it's very important that you get your creatives also involved from the start. Some account managers don't do that. They will do the early work and then later on they bring in the creatives. But if we see that and if we realize that our creatives can actually account for as high as 70%, and particularly on digital between 47 to 50%, then we should be bringing these guys on board right from the start. And if you look at the framework for P@S, these are the 3 key pillars here. You can see the first one that shows 49% creative. With regards to the impact of the brand on ROI, 15%, and then your media. So your media strategy, your media plan, and everything, your execution that goes after that. Media accounts for about 36%. So these are the things that you take into account when we are designing P@S. Data touch points. So first data, second data, third-party data. You put all that together to be able to, like I said, build a profile outside of the individual platforms, info that is available on the individual platform. So you're not just thinking of this person's profile on GDN. You're not just thinking about this person's profile on Facebook. You are thinking more wider, even your own first-party data that you've collected about these consumers. And then finally, brand relevance. So brand equity is really important. All of that work that we are doing around awareness, this is where it comes to bear. And so when your client is saying that, why are you running an awareness campaign for me? You can say that, well, it accounts for 15% of the ROI on this campaign, right? And perhaps you can reflect that also in your budget split. So we're going to look, I hope this thing plays, or shoot. We're going to take a look at some videos. Let me just play this one first.
And a little bit more.
All right. We're going to look at 2 videos that, first of all, the first one wasn't around P&S, but I like the second was very specific around P&S. The first one is a campaign for Heineken. What I particularly like about it was there was a business challenge. There was an economic challenge, brand challenge, marketing challenge, whatever you want to call it. That diagram I showed you from business to measurement and evaluation, they had that challenge, right? And this is the response of the agency to it. It was actually done by Insight.
And a little bit more.
Heineken is the #1 beer in the international premium lager segment in Nigeria, with solid equity and promising volume ambition. However, Nigerians were having less disposable income, thus consuming less beer. A situation further compounded by the economic recession in 2016, all of which in turn affected Heineken's growth. We needed to fix this. First, we identified our job was to change the consumer's perception of Heineken from being just an international brand out there to a brand that truly understands me and a brand I can relate to while staying truly aspirational to justify Heineken's premium price. The solution: develop breakthrough communication that truly resonates with the Nigerian man of the world and clearly communicates the credentials of Heineken as the brand worth paying extra for. To achieve this, we introduced Jidenna. We identified authentic links between Heineken, Jidenna, and the Nigerian man of the world. And we used these links to create 3 credential videos.
Did you know that Heineken is recognized and enjoyed in 192 countries around the world? Just like my people. With skills like that, shouldn't you have a more prestigious title? Heineken has been family owned for 140 years. So, of course, they know a bit about family tradition.
With restrictions on TV advertising in Nigeria, digital was our key channel. As an extension of the banter video, we allowed consumers generate their own titles. And Jidenna himself came back home to thrill consumers at the Live Your Music experiential events in Lagos and Abuja. The result? 30% growth in revenue and huge leaps in key equity KPIs. Authority rose by 11 points. Approval, 19 points. Worth its price by 14 points and product quality by 11 points. The Heineken brand was awarded Campaign of the Year by the body of advertisers in Nigeria. Advert.
Uncle, this is the award I was telling you about. This is only one award you won. There's more behind the star.
All right. And then
And a little bit.
This particular video really should I say bring to fore at its core is the P&S principle, and I loved it so much I wanted to share with you. It really explains it. I wish I wish we could do something this brilliant, but yeah, let's see this.
In the 400 years since enslaved Africans were first brought to America, we've been told to go back.
Quote, they should get back on a ship and go back to Africa.
That we don't belong.
We should go back to Africa where you're wrong.
Go back to Africa! Told by elected officials. Told more than once every 3 minutes online. But what if we could tell a different story about what it means to go back to Africa? This is Go Back to Africa, a Pan-African tourism campaign for Black and abroad that hijacks real hate as it happens in real time on Twitter, erases the racist context, and displaces it with the positive vision of Africa through hyper-targeted ads for each of Africa's 54 countries. But we had another problem. For Black people to want to go to Africa, we need to be able to see ourselves there. And most of the people who appear in mainstream travel imagery are white. So we developed an algorithm that pulls hundreds of thousands of travel images from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, uses Google Vision AI to find the ones likely to contain Black travelers, analyzes and tags the content, and pulls them into GoBackToAfrica.com, a first of its kind socially sourced content platform of aspirational Black travel. From Algeria to Zimbabwe, this platform also becomes the foundation for a programmatic influencer marketing campaign. So if one of our millennial targets likes cuisine, adventure, and wildlife, they get a custom ad designed to help them see themselves there. We can't just erase 400 years of hate, but we can take back what it means to go back to Africa.
All right, so this is where I dropped the mic. This is where I dropped the mic. Yeah. All right, I'll take your questions now. Yeah, you get a link to the video. Okay, yeah. Toka asked the question before. Yeah, so that brand manager is lounging in Amsterdam now. Yeah. Yeah, question, how do we measure all the points, i.e. ad recall, purchase intent, etc.? Measurement tactics don't seem to be well known. That's true. And that's because, okay, let me just answer Toka's question. That's because first of all, we are not aware that it's important to the business. We are unable to tie that KPI to the business. The second is, yes, we may not be able to know how to measure it. But there is something called Brand Lift Survey that is available on Google, by Google as well as Facebook. So that these are surveys that run with your campaign, and it helps you measure ad recall. So it would send like a survey to two buckets of people. First, people that were actually served your ad, and another buckets of people that were not served your ad. And it will ask the same question to both. And it uses the ones who weren't served your ad as control, right? We know statistics. And it allows you to, yeah. So with that, Google and Facebook, they use pretty much the same principle to be able to tell you that, oh, this campaign that we ran, we're able to lift our ad recall from X amount to by 40-60%, depending on how successful it is. And of course, when it comes to the other question you can ask is around purchase intent. So you could ask a question and say that, oh, after seeing this ad, would you consider using this product or service? And if the person says so, again, they'll take all those responses and be able to give you a feedback, right? So that's how Brand Lift Survey works. It's available on Facebook and Google, particularly YouTube. So it's really combines YouTube search as well as Google search. So we know that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So it pulls that data and allows you to measure ad recall and purchase intent. There are conditions to it though. So let me quickly mention that. For Facebook, you have to spend about $20,000. And for Google, you could spend as little as $5,000 to $20,000. If you spend $5,000, it allows you to serve just one question. If you spend $10,000, it allows you to serve 2 questions, and then $20K allows you to serve 3 questions. So that's how Brand BLS works. Second question. One question there. Okay, what are some AI PR test tools? So your regular, again, Facebook and Google, they actually have that inbuilt. You can set up PR tests on you can run PR tests on Facebook and Google. We're actually doing that at our agency for a few of our brands. We started testing that last year, and it's shown very good results. So we've been increasing our budget steadily. Of course, when it comes to data mining, you could either use, there are a bunch of options. You could use your first-party data, integrate that to a DMP. Eskimi now provides a white label DSP platform. So you could do that, plug your DMP to Eskimi's DMP, plug your first-party data to Eskimi's DMP, and be able to leverage their AI backend to run PR tests. I'm sorry, I missed out on PR tests. Please, can you summarize it again? I didn't see the end of that video. Okay, Nene, yeah, the link will be shared with the presentation. Then, Kenny, summarize. So it is like personalization, where you take usually 1 or 2 data points of the consumer and serve him. So, i.e., you have his name and you have maybe his location, and so you say, Muyiwa at Lagos. Here is blah blah blah. Do you know that a tasty fried chicken just opened beside you? That's personalization. But with PR tests, what you're doing is that you are taking all the data points available to you via first-party data, second-party data, and you're letting the system learn about that person and build a particular profile for that person, just like what we saw in this Back to Africa example. So they pulled different data points, content that was posted in the past, places you visited, all those data points, and they serve all your customer database or your target audience at once or at the time that works, right? So that's how PR is at scale. Is that personalization that we know, but it's like personalization on steroids. So it uses all data points and then serves to all your target audience. And at the back of it is technology, artificial intelligence, making sense of all that data. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Bro, links to the slide and all the videos. Is that you guys are more interested in my slides? Okay, great. Nene has a lot of questions. Okay. At what stage of a business digital strategy should one begin to focus on conversions? So it depends on the consumer journey, where the consumer is in terms of interacting with the brand. It also depends on the life cycle of the brand. So if you're a brand that you are struggling with awareness, then of course you need to run an awareness campaign to be able to deliver on conversions. But if you have a product or brand that is already well known, you could skip awareness, right, and move to, say, consideration and conversion. And if you think that you have an engaged audience, you feel that you already have that brand equity working for you, and you also feel that you have an engaged audience, you can go straight to conversion. I hope that answers your question. You shall not copy or reproduce the slides without permission. Thank you, Toka. Yes. We're going to put a caveat there. Yes, you cannot copy or reproduce the slides without permission from DigiClan. Is DigiClan property, please? Can you point us to places we can learn more about PR? Yes, I would. I think I'll just edit the slide and put resources at the bottom. And we can also talk about this in the group as well. So, and perhaps before the end of next week, we should have an article on it on the website too. Who's responsible for designing and managing this PR? So it's the same thing as any campaign. So what it just means is that your campaign is using the principle of PR tests. So it's the same way you design your typical campaign, the right way, like I mentioned, that all of the guys, especially the creative guys, your media, it's not just the strategists, all your guys must be there. Your media planner, your community manager, your copywriter. You must be there from the start. You must carry them along from the start and say, this is what we're trying to achieve. Right. Of course, if you have data scientists, that'll be fantastic. If not, you can outsource that bit. But yeah, it's a full team. It's in fact, it's something that has to come straight from the business, from the top, to say that yes, this is the direction we're going. They actually adopt that principle, say that we are adopting PR tests, and this is our MO. Okay. Good. Blog post, and we can make a blog post out of the slides, as long as you give credit to DigiClan and to me. I have a question facing it. Okay, Bukayo can help us with that. How to join the group? Please drop the link to register. Yeah. Yes, we'll share a link to register. Once you choose your state and all of that, I will add you to it. So it's just to again know who you are and know how to best give you a great experience on the platform. So for DigiClan, I mean, our focus is really to provide growth opportunities to everyone, with a focus on digital marketing, of course, and tech. We provide learning opportunities like this, offline, online. You are able to interact with your colleagues and peers in different industries, both on client side and agency side. Learn from them, network. And if you have products that you want to collaborate with, so if you want to host a webinar, for instance, or you want to develop a product, you can find this person that does creative, that does strategy, that does media planning, that has a PR background, and all of that. You can just pretty much have a pool of talents to work with. Thank you, Palumi. In creating PR tests, data collection and learning, Google would be stopping third-party data collection. How would this affect PR tests? So because Google feels that they know more than you, right? So they believe that they know enough, they have enough data about the consumer to not rely on third-party data. And of course, it's also from a security standpoint, right? So it doesn't stop the principle, it doesn't stop it from working. It's just that they're not going to let third-party plugins. Okay. Bukayo, do we have our feedback form? Will this affect the amount of data profiling? So again, you know that outside of Google itself, you have DV360. And like I said, PR tests as a principle is fairly new. And only a few brands, particularly international brands, have been employing it, right? So we envisage that as time goes on, it will be more open, and it won't be so much of a challenge. But for now, it's still, I guess, a bit guarded, and that's why we're having perhaps some limitations. But because of the DV360, you still plug into multiple ad exchanges. So I don't think there will be a limitation when it comes to data profiling. But as we know, DV360 is not available in Nigeria yet. So hence that breakdown. I don't think it will. Okay. All right. Thank you also very much. Thank you so much. I think that's about it. That's all the questions we have for today. Feedback form will be shared by. Okay, great. Thanks everyone. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Muyiwa.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I can say that the note is full.
Thank you, Muyiwa.
Thank you. It's so loud. Taking it from the videos to the shading.
Thank you, Muyiwa.
Thanks, boss.
Thank you,
everyone. What do I drink? Water. Harry, let's have some Heineken. You always laugh like this. Now, wow. Man cannot laugh in peace. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Invite me. I see some people here. Thank you guys for supporting us. Thanks for supporting DigiClan. It's great to have you here. Great stuff. Is that Kenny?
Who is that with Corona now?
Kalakpo, this is DigiClan's official vehicle.
Because I don't need to get emails from the for the slides, please. My name should be incident for this time. I beg you guys.
You don't get the email. Okay, so I'll send it after.
Yeah,
But if you don't get it, you can send me a personal message if you don't get it. But I'm very sure you should get it once I have it sent.
I should get this one.
Okay.
When are you taking interns? So I can.
Yes, let me know. When are you taking interns?
When are you taking interns?
I'm looking for internship myself. Internship.
Muyiwa, we are waiting. We can work for you for free.
For free.
For free.
Who wants to work for free? DM me.
It's Susan. Susan is ready to intern for free.
Just 4 letter words, 2 syllables only.
Man, yeah.
Thank you very much, Muyiwa. I really enjoyed the class. I did. Seriously.
Thank you. It was a pleasure preparing the slides. Actually,
Are we getting the slides soon?
Hey, now wow, who is that?
Susan.
Okay, so the thing is, I think if it's first time, then you probably know that you probably be asking this question. But if it's not your first time, you know that the slide will be sent. So I mean, it's a way of casting first timers. So yeah, you get the slides after.
Thank you.
That is an open uncle.
No, yeah, I can't hear you. The network is bad. You're breaking.
The network will be bad. The network will be bad in your end. So you can hear me well.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I think we'll take our leave now.
Bye, guys.
We'll send the feedback form, and after the feedback form, you get to get the slides as well. So thank you so much, Muyiwa. I mean, my laptop is even smoking. I think my laptop is smoking as a result of the class, so but I'll need to cool it down. So thank you so much. See everyone else in 2 weeks. Somebody should voice in your head, please. See everybody in 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, Bobs. Oh, see people. See Nene.
You have my question. You were talking about question before I go.
See Suga. Oh, the girl with the red hair.
I will not go until you leave, until you bless me.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Feel free to send a DM.
Okay.
Susan, I see you.
What did you say, Muyiwa?
I see you.
Oh, thank you. She was great.
Thanks for the support.
Oga, thank you.
Oga Benjamin, you are doing well.
Oga, let me come and work for you now.
You are doing well.
Your boy did loyal.
Don't come and buy my company yet, please. Don't come and buy my company yet.
All of you come on. You let's be going.
You go first now.
I have to close gates now.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. Thanks, guys. I had so much fun taking this stuff. Ciao.